All right, thanks for joining. I know that there's going to be some people joining as we get going, but I didn't want to keep you all waiting. So thrilled that you're all here. I'm seeing some new faces. That's great. I'm really happy about that. I don't know if you all were here last. Some of you were. Well, I know some of you were here last month when we got to discuss the concept of AI in improvement, specifically using tools like ChatGPT and the Bing tool. We also talked about Tome and some other tools for doing improvement work. And so we got great feedback from that session, and we'd like to build on that this month and really have some deeper discussion, possibly even go into looking at some other options. There's a lot of options right now, and we really believe that as improvers, we should be aware of them and also sharing how we potentially can use them to be able to help the departments, the service lines, the organizations we're working in, and then also to stay current on what's out there. So anyway, with that, I'm going to go ahead and ask Jakaria, what we'd like to do is one of the very first things I'd like to do for this group is to be able to have a networking time. In the past, what we've done is we've integrated it. We've had a speaker, and then we've integrated it within the breakouts. Being that it's the middle of summer, we wanted to be able to take some time to really connect with one another and have it less formal in terms of the way that this is structured today, and really get a chance to build our community. We do have some things that we would like to cover, and I'll probably do that after the icebreaker session, making sure that other people are here, but we want to talk about things like the upcoming Lean Healthcare Academic Conference, some of the swag ideas we have for that if you come and are in attendance there, and then I'll tee up the actual session for us. Okay. Jakaria, would you mind sharing?
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. So first, great to see everyone. Thanks for joining today. And I apologize, I'm not on screen. My internet will kick me out, apparently, today. It's being fickle, as technology often is. But here is our icebreaker for today. So if you were to write a book, what would the title be? And tell us about the inspiration. If you were to write a book, what would the title be? And tell us about the inspiration. And this can be a book about your life. It can be about something that you love to do. It could be about a work passion. It could be anything. So if you were to write a book, what would the title be? And tell us about the inspiration. Thanks, Ryan.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is we'll break out into, let's see, I want a big enough group for, we'll do 3 groups. So 5 people per group. We'll give about 15 minutes to do this. So that'll take us to a little after 11:20. I'll keep the time and I'll let everyone know. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and split us out, and it's going to be what book would you write and why? All right, awesome. Here we go. What would the title be?
All right.
All right, excellent.
Hey, Ryan.
Good.
So
yeah. Yep,
so just to FYI, in our group, we thought it'd be great to have Deborah come in August. Just pushing that pinpoint. Kind of talked about it.
Oh, yeah, that would be outstanding. So, yeah, you want to tell the group what that's all about? Because I was planning on talking about that. So yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so Deborah Smith actually used to work here at Stanford. She assisted us in standing up our VBC program and some other things that she consulted on. But she recently wrote 3 books in the span of 6 months, 7 months.
Less than that. I think it was like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, and all on leadership, and her journey was just amazing. She has lots of resources, lots of know-how, and she paid a lot of money to figure out how to do it right, the pain of dealing with different publishers and all that sort of stuff. And so we were thinking that would be a fun topic, since we all now have thought about a book that we should probably be writing. Let's face it, the world is a better place when we can hear about each other's experiences and stories. And so what better place to start than a group of folks such as ourselves with so much richness in our lives and in our professional experience. So anyway, Ryan, just to push pin on our next planning meeting, that we should consider Deborah.
That would be great. And actually, it bridges both of these conversations. So today we're going to be continuing discussing AI. So I also already teed up with my group that I was in that I'm going to put us back largely in the same groups. I might have to reconfigure slightly based on if people have to drop or people join. But we're going to want to build on what we talked about last month. And let me give you a little kind of a synopsis of what was covered so that we can discuss it. So the idea was, how do we use AI to augment or to help with our improvement efforts? And so we were challenged with some tasks of going in and asking ChatGPT or Bing AI specific questions about improvement things that we would encounter. Things like, help me to understand the 4 key drivers for preventing falls, something like that. And then based on, and then continue to iterate using ChatGPT or Bing AI, asking them questions, continue to ask questions of the tool to be able to refine your answer, so that you can, not so that you can get the right answer, but so that you can get your team or your group or whatever you're working with to be able to start at a more advanced spot, so that we're being able to accelerate change given some of the information that's out there, that a tool like AI can help us to aggregate but not take it as the solution. So that was the thing that we called out, or we understood, that AI right now sometimes will make up things like authors for publications, or publications that didn't even exist. They call that hallucinations. So it will fill in. There may have been someone that worked on that particular topic, and maybe published something, but they'll connect things that aren't necessarily connected, or they'll even make it up. So you've got to be careful with that. So what we're advocating is not to take it in face value, but take the concepts and be able to then vet those with the content experts as part of a team to be able to accelerate change. But we also looked at things like there was a tool called Tome, which helps us to do presentations. It'll actually create a presentation based on a prompt that you give it, and it will lay out the basics, the structure of a presentation. So gives you a sense of that. So tools that can accelerate change, but not necessarily make the change. I hope that the differentiation makes sense. We know that those were that's only scratching the surface of the AI tools out there. I've recently posted a image from one tool that one blog I was looking at. I posted it on our team site. If you don't have access to that, reach out to me separate, and I'll connect you to that. But on our team site, there's a whole bunch based on categories of references for AI that you can use. The other thing, the connection point between this and Deborah Smith, is when Deborah has shared her story with me and a few other people, that I have a separate group that we get together every 6 weeks and talk about these things. And she shared that she uses AI to actually help write her books, which is fascinating. And so she can actually help bridge both the AI world, what we're talking about here, and publishing world for writing books. and give you amazing tricks and tips, and reduce maybe some of those mental barriers to entry to do something like that. If this is something that you've thought about, or even if you haven't thought about, it's really it's pretty cool, and it's not as well. She makes it sound like it's not as hard as you'd think, but I still think it probably is pretty hard. Okay, so actually, before Michael leaves, I want everyone to, Michael, can you say something? Because I want everyone to see Michael's, Mike.
Yeah,
okay,
hi.
So Michael's got his hat, everybody. Okay, so that hat, well, either in white or black, I'm not sure. We might even be able to come up, we're still trying to work out what color, but it's too low now. We can't see.
Oh.
Michael, you got to raise it up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. We can see it better like that, yeah. So it says, I'm a trendsetter, and it's Stanford Medicine SCIP, and it's got control chart, kind of control chart humor. It's something I do for fun. I know it seems silly, but we have fun with it. So, but what we're doing is, for those that go to the Lean Healthcare Academic Conference, we're going to give you one of these. So it's a motivation to go to the conference, and then also shows, showcases our involvement with SCIP in this group. So it's going to be, again, it's either going to be black or white. I'm not entirely sure. We might have a mix of the two, but if you like it, and even if you don't, if you just want a funny hat, come to the conference. We'd love to showcase all the people that are part of SCIP. We're also going to have a networking session, and I think right now we're looking at potentially on day 2 during lunch to get all of our folks together and connect in person, which is really fun. We did it last year, where we had SCIP, we got together at the conference, and it was so much fun to get to see people face to face when we work across all of Stanford Medicine, and sometimes even beyond Stanford Medicine. This community is growing, so it was quite a delight to be able to connect with people in that way. So really hope you can do that. Yeah, Lisa put in there the early bird pricing ends on the 9th of September. So try to get that, try to get on and do that. I know some of you might even be presenting. If you're presenting, can you speak up? Because I know that there's a few people here that submitted abstracts. What about a poster or a presentation? Anyone? I know there
Hey,
are.
Ryan, I'll speak up. This is Britt Gomez, and we got accepted for a presentation, which is really exciting. It'll be on just our personal process improvement journey that Ryan has gone through the turbulence of with our onboarding program. And over the last year and a half, we've been able to gather so much data that wasn't being gathered before. And there's actually an incredible amount of money and hours we've saved, and we can show through all the data collection and PI work we've done with Ryan and his team. So we're really, really excited, because I was really new to PI a year and a half ago, and I had this program that felt like it was getting better, but I needed to show that it was getting better. And the impacts really captured the attention of other people. We're actually presenting to a pharmacy group. We're going to a manager's meeting. So if you want to learn more about it, I'm happy to share, but we're excited.
That's so great. Love it. Yeah, so Britt, their team, I'm so excited. I didn't know that you actually got accepted for an oral presentation. That is phenomenal. I can't wait. It's really, really interesting. That would be one, mark it on your agenda. Go to that one. It's going to be really, really interesting. And Dom, you got a poster. That's so cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. And I know our team, we're also going to do an oral presentation on the CAPS and how we use that for identity and inclusion in the peri-op interventional platform space. And then our health equity tuition reimbursement got accepted for a poster too. So I think
So good.
there might be more on our team. I just got back from PTO from today, so
Sarah.
I'm trying to figure out what else is
Yeah.
out there. But I'm very excited and proud of our whole team. So yeah, we'll hopefully have a good presence.
So Dominique and Britt are all part of the interventional platform, which I think probably had the most submissions. I can't imagine any other group had more submissions than they did. So good. So excited to hear that from all of you. Anyone else? Did anyone else submit, get accepted? Okay. All right. Well, that's good. That's good. So really fun. I hope you're able to make it. Let me know. Okay. So let me know a couple things. So send me a note if you need access to Teams. Also, I'd be interested in what color hat you would like because we're trying to pick that. Okay. So what I would like to do is I want to break us up into groups again. Looks like we've got a few people they told me they had to leave they could only be here 30 minutes. So, but for those that are still here, I would like to break us out. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to pivot. I think I'd like to keep it in this bigger group because this is a topic that I think everyone might want to hear the whole thing. Okay. So let's do this. What I would like from you is to tell us how you've used AI. And it doesn't have to be specifically on improvement related work, because I know some of you, like I think Britt, you've used it on Canva, I think for emails, if I'm not mistaken. Dom, I think you've used AI a little bit. And then there's others of you I know that, here we are at Stanford. I know you're working on accessing AI in different ways. So I know that there's lots of different tools out there. So I'm going to stop talking. I would like to hear from all of you, or from any of you, how you've used AI, or even if you have questions about how would we use AI for a particular thing. So your turn.
It's Britt again. I do use Canva. I don't know if anybody's heard of it, but I asked someone if they used it. They're like, what, to make my kid's birthday thank you notes? And I was like, actually, it has a component of AI inside. It's called Magic Write. And you can actually format some really cool documents within Canva. And it has that AI component. Because some of the barriers with ChatGPT, I think it's stuck in 2021, or it's stuck in a year, right?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't go past 2021. That's
yeah,
like the most recent. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know what Canva pulls from, but don't underestimate it. There are some really cool features in there. You can collaborate on a document within Canva. So yeah, check it out.
Also, we can, as employees of Stanford, we get the corporate premium account for free with Canva. So there's that. If you want to use a group or a team account with Canva, you can do that, and you just reach out to them and say you're Stanford Healthcare, and they'll give you the premium account for free, because we use that for our IPIDHE stuff as well. With AI, I have used ChatGPT to help me actually with a JD that we created for Jacqueline's role. I had to kind of workshop some ideas, and ChatGPT has helped me create that with Britt, but also trying to just eloquently articulate things for presentations. AI, we have this really cool black box technology in the OR that we use heavily with the videos. And that's helped us with one of our quality improvement, process improvement things that we're doing right now for post-procedure debrief. It's all the videos, and it pulls how well we're doing certain quality initiatives, such as the debrief, which is just like timeouts, and it's very important for patient safety. But it's been very helpful to show the video clips because certain people, like the laggards of the groups who might not be so on board with saying that we need to improve, what we've seen is in the past, we've had like the secret shopper audits where people will just go in and say, oh yeah, they're doing it. And our metrics were showing 95 to 100% of compliance. But then when we started looking at our AI technology video, where it's kind of like Big Brother, and I'm using that in quotations because it's just always on, but it de-identifies you, so I don't know who's in the room, and it makes everyone sound kind of like chipmunks or Darth Vader, depending on what it is, but they're all de-identified. So that compliance has showed us more like 30% of our performance. So then we realized we have a problem, and we've been able to dig really deep into how well we're doing things as far as like specimen labeling, which can tell you if you have cancer or not, how well we're doing our counts for retained foreign objects, because we don't want to have a retained foreign object in someone when they leave the OR, and how well we're doing wound class documentation, because down the road, if that's wrong, that can contribute to SSIs and all the things that we report to regulatory bodies. So this has been really helpful because it's faster in real-time reporting than like Epic. And Epic is also human-based, so the AI has helped us tremendously kind of show the truth to people who might not be so on board with our initiatives. And it's just quicker visualization. It also pulls from all of the monitoring and puts it in one platform. So we've been living in that, and the video clips are really cool to see because it doesn't lie. Yeah, so I'm like looking at clips right now and catching up because it's kind of fun, but it's all related to patient safety and staff safety. So that's been our big project since January that we've been working on. Unfortunately, they're only in 4 rooms, but as we renovate 300 Pasteur ORs, we're putting them in all the rooms. And as people start to see the technology, that's starting to increase the momentum for picking up on, oh yeah, we need this. So very exciting things going on.
Well, I'm getting a lot of ideas for future groups. So having Dr. Grantarov, who's created Black Box, possibly come and share his vision for Black Box and how it's been used would be fascinating for AI for this group, and possibly what we can do in other areas. What's being done in the OR is really pretty cool. I mean, it really is neat. And then we've got Deborah for the authoring. Britt, your work, I would love to see possibly maybe after the conference, if you might be interested in sharing some of that here, would be really pretty cool. I'd love to be able to see more of that. I love the way that you structured yours in a way that you can now see your system. It's visible now, whereas before it was kind of hidden. You just had a feeling that something was not right, or that something, was working well, and some might feel better, but you didn't really have a way to quantify it or even be able to share that with others. Now you do, and now you can tell your story pretty quickly, which is so fun, so neat.
Yeah, I'd love to share it.
So yeah, that would be great. I'd like to hear if there's others from the group. I have some other things I'd like to share, but I wanna hear from you. Heather, I'm curious, in the evaluation sciences group, you guys are doing, I know you're involved in all kinds of AI work.
Yes.
I mean, you're evaluating it. You guys are probably could be another presenter in the future.
Yeah, our group is pretty big. May's here too, and so she can speak to some of it. I mean, AI, we've been working with groups specifically with advanced care planning. So like in Epic, there's flags that use AI. I don't know if you're familiar with Ron Lee, and then they added, so that's like, who would they recommend to have a conversation with? And so that's kind of built into Winnie Tudeberg and her group, and having these serious illness conversations or advanced care planning conversations with patients. So flagging them and seeing if it's being implemented, if those conversations are happening. And then, I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with Katie Brown Johnson. She probably could speak to AI more.
Yeah.
I'm more of, when Dominic said laggard, I was like, oh, technology, I'm a late late adopter for technology, so I'm not the best to speak to AI. But
okay.
I have fiddled with like Chat GPT with, I guess, emails, like just sometimes wording. I'm like, I don't know how to word this. Here's a sample, fix this up. So I've used that once or twice now. May, who else has used AI or Chat GPT in our group? May is also at the ESU with me.
I'm not too sure, just because you've been with the group much longer than I have very recently.
Yeah.
And so
May just joined back. She just got her master's in social work, so she's back with our group. But I'm trying to think who else or what else we've done.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. That's fine. You actually brought up some ideas that I would like to challenge this group on. So if you haven't used an AI tool like ChatGPT or Bing AI, I'm going to give you a challenge between now and the next time. And it could be something simple. It doesn't even have to be work related. Go into it and ask it to help you to craft an email, to plan a party, or plan a trip. Okay, so one of those things, pretty straightforward. The way that I'd encourage you to do it is ask it questions like you would like someone you're having coffee with. So give me some ideas about planning a trip to, like, I did this honestly with the trip I'm going to be taking in a few weeks to a few national parks. And I said, give me some ideas of places to eat, hiking trails, places to stop along the way, things like that. And it gave me all kinds of things. Some of it I'm like, that's not very good or interesting. But I kept asking questions of it. I'm like, well, that's pretty good, but what about this? And okay, what about, like, for trails, more beginner intermediate trails versus those really rigorous 15-mile hikes? I don't really want those. So, like, and I continue to hone it down. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I've also done it with emails. I've done it with other things too. But do something like that. Just jump in, try it. Because what I think it will give you is it'll start giving you ideas about how you could relate that to the work you're doing. So maybe it's you're having a really an email that's got to be perfect. It's an important email. You want to make sure you're hitting all the points. You could craft it there first, and then take it off and then make it exactly yours. You don't want to have it an AI version of the email, but it will give you at least like key points so you make sure you're not missing anything. Or when you're working with the team, this is what our improvement team does a lot, is we'll use it to be able to give us categories of, or buckets of key drivers for particular projects. If we're looking at what are the main key drivers for success to improve a particular process, we'll a lot of times we know it, but we don't want to assume that we know everything, and so we'll reach out and we'll plug that in, and it'll give some ideas, and then we continue to ask it more questions to really frame it. Then what we'll do is we'll bring it before a group or a team of multidiscipline groups in different roles who are experts in the field, and then have them validate it and then be able to iterate from there. That way we're starting from a more accelerated point. So that's been very successful. But I mean, that's just scratching the surface. I'm sure there's much, much more we could do. So with that, if you want to speak up, go ahead. But what I'm going to do while you're thinking, I'm going to go ahead and I want to share my screen. I want to share something that we put on Teams. Oh, someone going to say something?
Yeah, like what you're saying, I am tracking because I do use it. Sometimes I'm just like, gosh, I know what I want to say, but I don't have like the right words to say it. So it helps me like kind of, I guess, articulate better. But what you also said is like the key drivers and stuff, it's not going to replace going to your key stakeholders and being like, yep, that's right. Because it's not a person and it doesn't have like the content expertise of Stanford. So you can't just be like, oh, I asked the bot and they said yes. but it could help me, because sometimes like I don't reuse the right words. It will help me get that better and maybe make me, I don't want to say sound more articulate. And then I go to my content stakeholders, whatever, subject matter experts, and say, is this right? Does this track better? You still have to do that step though, because the bot or AI is not replacing that. That's what I think people, the scary part to some people is it's not replacing the human element of it. It's just maybe helping you sound a little, like for me, present better and maybe more concise instead of just saying like how I talk to my husband at home. Right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it will accelerate change a little bit too. It's certainly, you've got to know your stuff. I mean, you can't just, because you could try to fake it, but it would be called out pretty quick. You got to know your stuff. So if you know your stuff and then you use this, you can really accelerate change. It helps you to be able to jump ahead. And I feel like if we're not doing that in the future, we're going to be way behind. So that's why I think it's going to become you've got to have it. You've got to have the ability to do this, because if you're not, you're just going to be left. So that's why I think part of it, we want to be talking about this stuff. Not that it's the end all be all. It's not the solution for everything, but it is part of the solution. And we've got to be aware of it. And honestly, with the work that we're doing in our worlds, we really have to also be teaching it and sharing with others about it so that we're all informed. Because I know lots of you are teaching classes, you're involved in leading teams, so it's very important. Okay, I'm going to share something that we've got. So someone was going to say something.
I was just going to say. Okay, go ahead.
Oh. Okay, just Heather, I'll get to you in just a second. On our team site, we have, this is one of the things I've posted up there. This is generative AI startup landscape. So like there's all these for like text, for images, for audio, video, chatbots. We might see in here, you don't even see like ChatGPT or Bing because they're probably not as current as some of these, for coding, for searching, gaming of data. So all these different groups are in the AI space, and we haven't even talked about any of them. So I just give these to you as like, as you're thinking through things, there's tons of opportunities. Also, there's this ChatGPT prompting cheat sheet. So if you're using something like ChatGPT and you wanted to maybe look at, so this gives you some ideas for research. Okay, so if I'm prompting for research, identify top 20 companies in an insert industry by revenue. What are the top trends for 2023? This gives you, the thing with this generative AI is continue to ask it questions to go deeper, just like you would with when talking with a person. So it will take that, it will take your previous answer and it will build on it, which is what's particularly interesting. Versus some of the things like Google, it would be a new search almost every time unless you build on it. There are some ways to do it within something like Google, but this one, it's all generative, so you can continue to build upon it. So that reference does already exist. We have that in the team site. We have other things like there's the hat. We have some, so we have a resource that we can use between meetings as well. It's right here. It's SCIP, Stanford Medicine, Community of Improvement Professionals. I also have a little water cooler. No one's really used it yet, but the idea with this is, I did, but things that we're like sharing what we, fun things that are going on, like if you went on a fun trip, or I would love to see maybe if you did use some kind of AI tool to plan a party or plan a trip, or like what Dom said, planning bots. So yeah, whatever it is, I'd love to hear, and maybe even post it here for us. Okay, now Heather, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would reiterate what you were saying earlier about prompts, like whatever, it depends on what you prompt the bot to do. So it's really important how to, what you're asking it. So it's great that you have that resource. And then one thing I was just thinking when you were talking and Dominic was talking was idea generation, especially in the improvement space. I see this really being a really useful tool for idea generation. And do want to caution, I don't think anyone here does it, but with PHI, like we don't want to feed the bot anything personal. I know our team looked into, I think because we do qualitative research and we're collecting data from spoken people's speech, I think one of our teammates went through the process of potentially using AI, and then it had like a caveat of like, this will be shared. So it's still not safe in that space. But I think for sure in idea generation and processes, it'll be very useful.
And that's a great call out too. I wouldn't put any personal information of yours either, like, you know, because it becomes part of the repository because it's constantly building and growing on the information that it's gathering. So yeah, I'd be careful with that. But if you're just, looking at idea generation, those kind of things, it's perfect for it. So good call out. Thank you, Heather. That was worth waiting for. Okay, what I would like to do is, I think that brings us pretty much to the end of our time. But what I would love, this is what we do every time. I have a section at the bottom, or I'm going to share this with you in the chat. We have a mural page, and at the bottom of the mural page, I would like you to just take a couple minutes, if you would, before you jump to your next thing, to share with us what you liked about this. We do a like, I wish, I wonder. So it's what you liked about this particular session, what you wish we would have done, and then what you wonder maybe we could do in the future. So these could be topics, these could be any number of things. But this feedback is what we use each month to be able to make this better for our community. So you could really use it for even ways to connect with us. Like I would like to meet with this particular group, or I have a question or concern or anything, but put it in here. Love to be able, it's at the bottom. So if you scroll to the bottom of the, so you open up the link and then go to the very bottom, it's got I like, I wish, I wonder. And this will be open even if you run out of time and you want to come back to it or think about it, please do it, because again, we really value it. And this link on it actually has the notes from our last session. I've done that on purpose so you can see some of the notes that what people came up with. There's also some links in there to some of the different AI tools like Tome, and there's another one, an article about ChatGPT on there too. And there's actually a couple of them that you can see. And it's probably not the most up to date, but there's a program agenda for a preliminary program for the Lean Healthcare Academic Conference. If you want the real up to date one, go to the SNCI site and you will see that, where you can also register for the conference. Okay, this has been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for spending an hour of your week with us. I've enjoyed getting to know some new people, and hope you did too. And I hope we also learned some tools that you'll apply. I'm really interested to see how you'll all apply this. And if you would, use that team site. I'd love to have you post some of the things you've used it for, and if it was successful, even if it wasn't, some pitfalls, that way we can learn from each other. Okay? Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful week. See you later.
Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.